and business to new heights. Call in at 888-994-4995, Studio B. Now let's get to the show.
Hi everybody, we're delighted to be here, part of the Thursday night BYOB, Build Your Own Business. Tonight we're with Dignity Memorial. My name's Wayne Henry and my colleague Jackie Green. So we're delighted to share what we do on a national level, and here we're based down here in Southeast Florida. So we're delighted to share what we do and to kind of help spread the word, and how we hope to maybe help many of you with your prearrangements, so funerals. So Dignity Memorial is the largest funeral, cremation, and cemetery provider in the country. So we have over almost 2,600 locations. Is that right, Jackie?
That is correct, sir.
Yeah. So we've got almost 2,600 locations throughout our network in North America, Canada, which includes Canada and Puerto Rico. Here in Florida, we have over 100 different locations, and between West Palm Beach and Miami, over 40. So we're the best at what we do. We've helped every president and first lady since Eisenhower. We've helped families, lots of VIPs recently. I recently learned we even helped with Ruth Bader Ginsburg's services in Washington, D.C. I was personally in Houston, Texas, in our headquarters when President Bush passed away. Our teams in California took care of Kobe Bryant. So we're the best at what we do, but our heart and soul is in our local communities, where we work with local families. At the time of someone passing, we do the obvious, but also we do a lot of helping families put their pre-arrangements in place. And we do a lot of efforts working in the community to help families get those arrangements in place. And it makes a lot of sense for everyone to explore those options, get those in place. And there's things that Dignity Memorial offer that our competitors certainly don't, that's going to be very beneficial to you and your family to consider. So Jackie, maybe help me kind of think about what Dignity does that's different and better than any other possible other option.
Well, you made a lot of great points, especially talking about the dignitarians that we take care of, right? So there's a word that kind of associates with who we are and who we serve, right? So great point with that, Wayne. A lot of people don't know exactly who Dignity Memorial is, and we are here to kind of explain that, right? So many of your local funeral homes are under the Dignity umbrella, which gives you protection throughout the world, right? Which is one of our main Dignity benefits that no one else can offer,
100%,
right? So
yeah.
So there's a lot of funeral homes. Again, we talked about the community that are in your community that you may not know is a Dignity Memorial provider. And the benefits of that are just bar none to anyone else, right? We have 10 benefits, 9 of them are tangible, and the last benefit is us, right? It's the service that we give, the quality that we give to families, and the dignity that we give to those families of the passing of their loved ones. So we can kind of talk about those, what they are, who they are, being part of our family and our network. I'm having a little feedback here, sorry. But one of them is the national transferability, which we can start with, okay?
Yeah, that's a huge benefit. Here down in Florida, I personally help a lot of families who have family burial plots in other parts of the country, in other states. So that's another way we can help with that, with our large network. So often what we do is, we might, at the time of someone passing, we would take care of preparing the person for burial down here, and then arranging transport up to another part of the country where our colleagues would take over and do the other end of that. So we can do that easily, but that transferability is really key, in that anyone who does a pre-arrangement with any Dignity Memorial location anywhere in our network, that plan is transferable with them in the future wherever they go. So if they end up moving to another part of the country, their plan as it exists, so when we pre-plan, we lock in those prices, we can spread out payments. There's a lot of benefits of doing that, but you don't lose that if you go away. With some of our smaller competitors, If they move away, that's no good to them. But for us, that will be honored to any of our other locations, even the cemetery purchase. So if you've purchased a plot at one of our cemeteries and you end up moving away before that's used, then we can offer like-for-like transfer to one of our other cemeteries. So that's pretty valuable for people, and it helps people with more confidence put their pre-arrangement in place, and it's pretty much future-proof.
100%. And that gives the peace of mind of flexibility, right? And that's who we are about. You asked earlier what sets us apart from the rest of the competitors, and that's it. We are here for the long run. We've acquired different local funeral homes, as we spoke of. And when making pre-arrangements, peace of mind is the number one thing that people are trying to achieve. They're trying to make sure that their families are protected from the emotional burden. And then the number one secondary item is the financial burden, right? So knowing that you're locked in at those prices, no matter where you move in the United States, Canada, or Puerto Rico, gives you that sound peace of mind that everyone's looking when they make their pre-arrangements.
Yeah.
So again, just to reiterate what you said, locking in the prices is secondary to the emotionary burden. However, it keeps you protected against the cost of inflation, which not many things that we do in this lifetime currently can do that. So
Jackie, spell that out for people. So what does that really mean, locking in the price, avoiding inflation? What does that really mean?
Absolutely. So today, October 29, 2020, let's just give a rough estimate of what a funeral and cemetery plot costs. I would say it's between $12,000 and $18,000 total, depending where you live demographically. But if you sign and decide to protect yourself today, you would lock in those prices. And historically in our industry, the prices double every 10 years. So most people who make their pre-arrangements, it's a wow factor, right? Most people who make their pre-arrangements usually don't pass between 8 and 12 years from when they make their arrangements. So they're protecting their family against the cost of inflation by 100%. That's amazing. There's not many things that you can do. I know you had stated that we're in the state of Florida. I know there's a lot of listeners that are not, but in the state of Florida, we have something called Florida Prepaid. It's the only other program that I know where you can protect the cost of inflation. Nothing else. There's no other companies that can do that. And we do it in a dignified manner.
Yeah, so that's huge. I know traditionally, it wasn't an option. If we look, traditionally, a lot of people still don't know that that's possible to do pre-arrangements. I was shocked when I started to hear that only 2% of the population have their pre-arrangements in place. For me, that's pretty crazy when we know that all of us eventually need this, whether we pre-arrange or not. It's something none of us can avoid. So by pre-arranging, you're not locking in the price. We can spread out payments. Jackie, maybe go over the different payment options that are available to families as well. It's great to lock in price, avoid that inflation, but do they need to pay everything in full at the time, or what are the options there?
Well, options are when someone passes and no arrangements are in place, you do definitely have to pay everything in full before services are rendered. Whether it's with us, with a different company, there's no layaway program when someone passes away, correct? So on the pre-need side, on the cemetery portion of it, right, there is definitely flexibility in how you want to pay it, right? You can do it over 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. You customize your own terms. Again, that brings back to the peace of mind that you're doing what you can do and what fits within your means at that time. On the funeral side, we have many ways to protect yourself, right, and make those payments. A lot of what we do is protected by insurance, meaning if something happens to you while you're healthy, while you make the arrangements, we can pay off the balance of the funeral so your family doesn't have to. Again, customizing the terms over the years that the family chooses. But again, it's all about that flexibility. So the customization of sitting down, making your own arrangements, customizing those terms is an invaluable gift that you will give to your family for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, 100%. We also offer some great services for all of our families. So we have a bereavement travel assistance program. So if family members need to travel for a funeral or a celebration of life, then we can help with that. It's one phone call, and we can offer some great bereavement seats on flights, which really don't exist anymore, but we can make that happen quickly, and usually it's at a great discount as well. We also offer our Compassion Helpline, so it's actually a telephone grief counseling service. It's available to all of our families following the service up to a year, actually 13 months after a service for those family members, completely free, available 24/7. So I've personally, excuse me, worked with families where that's been a great help to them. We make sure that everything's unique to the individual. One other thing that we do that's very unique is our celebration of life team. We can rather than a traditional funeral service, most families are kind of moving away from what we traditionally would see in a movie, where everyone's crying, it's raining, everyone's wearing black. People want to celebrate the person that's passed away. Celebrate what their life was about, and be a happy time, not a sad time. It will always be sad, but to celebrate that person's life rather than concentrate on the death. And our team, I've seen some amazing celebrations that we've put together, and everyone's unique to that individual. So, Jackie, I'm sure that you've seen more than me different examples of that maybe you want to share.
Sure. I mean, I've seen a ton, right? I did it myself for my stepfather. We had a golf theme. He was of Norwegian descent. We made golf balls with the Norwegian flag and then his date of birth and passing on the actual golf ball. Most people have saved it as a momentum, which I think is just out, when you go into someone's home and you see that same golf ball, is really, it's just moving, right? But we've done celebrations from as simple as a beach theme to actually having sand in a funeral home with chairs, their favorite umbrella. I went to a location in Bradenton, Florida, where we actually had a 3-wheel Harley Davidson right in the middle of the service. Okay?
Wow, cool.
That was super, super impactful. Yeah. And a lot of times we spend, between $30,000 to $100,000 to $200,000 on a wedding, right? We know the chances of a marriage lasting are at this point about 30%. So we always say, why not spend the money on the life well celebrated, right? You're doing the same thing, except you're celebrating that life, right? And it's final. Okay, and most people who use our Life Well Celebrated catering events come back to us and say we would never be able to do what we did and have such an impact.
Oh, looks like Jackie froze, so I'll continue. Oh, you froze over a little bit. I think we're back. You're back now? Yeah.
Okay, what was the last thing you heard, sir? Okay. Okay, so we're talking about Life Well Celebrated.
Yeah.
So I actually dealt with a family up in Tampa where it was a family who had private parties and private event planners all the time. She said, since she was about 18 years old, she's always hired an event planner. When we planned her husband's funeral, she said, who knew? The best event planner I would have was a funeral director, and they did it with less than 48 hours. That always stood out to me because, our team gets together, they listen to what the family says, they listen to what's important in their life, and then they share that with all of the people visiting for the services.
Yeah.
And now currently, obviously in the environment we're in with coronavirus and things like that, we're able to live stream. So those people who are not able to come to the service can be in New York, New Jersey, California, Europe, wherever they may be, still feeling that person in their service at that time. And I think that's just puts us a step above everyone else.
Yeah. I think it's great to work with families. Personally, every day I'm meeting with different families and helping them. Some people have the motivation of, they want to do this for their family. They want to decide, what they want and kind of have that special memorial in place to have a big send off, and they have a lot of fun putting that in place for their family, which is often a great surprise for their family. We see the other end as well, where people are like, well, I don't know what I want, or I'm getting older in life and I want something simple. Can you help me with that? And of course we can do that, and a lot of people are choosing cremation these days, and we can do things from a very simple cremation to at least get the basics covered, so there isn't a shock about for your family to not know who to call, how to at least get the basics done. And then they can decide at the time if they want some catering or some other sort of celebration, but at least they're giving that gift to their family, where at least the basics are covered. So I see people doing it one way or the other, where they want to plan a big celebration, something big send off, and they're putting it in place. And also it's because we're doing it ahead of time, we're locking in price, we're spreading out payments, then it's not a huge financial burden for them or their family ahead of time. Or, like I said, they can put something simple in place as well. The key thing 100%. Is when we meet with families, we take time to get to know them, what's important to them, are there religious considerations to take place, what's normal for their family, their traditions, and what we specialize in, and I take great pride when I'm meeting with families, and is getting that right for them, for that individual. It's rare that any one service is going to be identical, so we look at what's exactly right for them, and we make it right on the day. That's certainly our goal.
Absolutely, and that'll bring me to a point. A lot of people they may live a simple life, right? And they may want to be celebrated simply. But again, it's, and I say this with all compassion in my heart, a funeral is about the living, right? And how they're going to respect you and have their wishes as they please, correct? But they want to celebrate you. They want to celebrate the life, what you've meant to them. And having those celebrations of life from the moment you walk through the door, or it's syndicated, right, through Facebook or any other live stream service that we have, you feel that person, okay? And so if we hear I've heard the biggest party animals in the world, well, I just want to be thrown in the ocean. Well, that may not be what your surviving spouse or your children or your grandchildren or even the friends that you sat with at the bar every Friday night. They still want you, they want to visit you, they want a piece of you, they want to remember you the way that they did,
Yeah.
So that's, always keep that in mind when you're sitting with a representative such as Wayne or myself, making those prearrangements.
Yeah, 100%. So the most important thing we say to people is, don't put it off, because we're not none of us are guaranteed to live a long life. There's lots of one of my colleagues, I'll never forget. We were in one of our cemeteries. And my colleague said, there's a lot of, this cemetery is full of people that thought they had more time. And that really hit me. And it's true. We don't know when our end date's going to be. And, heaven forbid something happens unexpectedly. You don't want it to be surprising. You don't want that burden for your family. So we 100%. Encourage, everyone to think about it, have that conversation with their family. It's not a nice conversation, maybe, that not nice to think about, but it's certainly, better than not having it. And one thing that we also offer is our, we call it our personal planning guide, and this is something that we deliver to every person that we meet with, whether they actually finish putting their arrangements in place or not. Obviously, we want to help them and get that in place. But this is a valuable tool for everyone to record their wishes and also provide information that the family is going to need on that day. So when you pass away, there's information the funeral director needs to record the death. You can give a lot of information in here about what you want on the day. I got into this about 3 years ago when my grandmother, 95, passed away, and she'd done her pre-arrangements, and no one else in my family. Unfortunately, I'd lost a lot more family members before, she'd done that arrangements before. No one else had, and it made it so simple. And this is something that we provide to everyone, and when filled out, it's just the greatest gift you can give to your family. So that's one of the other things that we provide that no one else does. Jackie, we're almost out of time. I also wanted to encourage, any businesses listening. We have it's called a funeral benefit program. So it's a free program. Any business or actually any organization can join. And what it does is it gives your employees and their family members or members dedicated discounts for a funeral or any pre-arrangements anywhere in our network. So if anyone wants to learn about that, we're happy to share, and it's just you decide how we help provide that information to your employees or members, and that's for their employee, their husband or spouse, and both of their parents and grandparents. Jackie, we've got another couple minutes, so maybe some other things.
And we can talk about the affinity group. Please call Wayne at 561-654-9000 or wayne.henry@dignitymemorial.com to get more information, because the affinity group is something that everyone should be a part of, whether it be business or your family or your networks. It just gives you an inherent discount to the best and greatest company in the world. So please keep that in mind. The last thing we are going to mention is the veteran benefits. So we talk about veterans a lot, right? Especially in recent times. And what goes on with the veterans. But here at Dignity Memorial, in any Dignity Memorial location, you can go into your local provider and get a veterans planning guide, or you can call Wayne and sit down and find out. He's an expert at what the veteran benefits are. We talk to veterans day in and day out, and a lot of times they don't know what they're entitled to. So to all the veterans listening, thank you for your service. Please sit with Wayne and get the information, because a lot of the veterans that we have think that everything is taken care of, and that's not necessarily true. So National Cemetery, everything is taken care of, but we've got to get you there. So please sit down with Wayne, find out what information he can give you, as you're entitled to so, and so is your spouse.
Yeah. Basically, everybody needs our services. We're happy to provide that information to you. Give me a call, text, email, and let us help you consider the options for yourself, your business, and your family.
Yes, perfect.
All right, so thanks everyone for joining us. We hope that information was useful for you. Very happy to be part of the show tonight, Thursday BYOB.
Same here. Thank you.
Everyone stay well, stay safe, and we hope not to need to see us for a while.
On the pre-planning side, we do.
Yeah, well, pre-planning, but
Yeah.
at need. All right, bye everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you for tuning in to BYOB. Join us next time for a fresh perspective and innovative strategies to building your own business. If you are a successful business owner with tips to help or would like more information from our hosts or guests, please contact us at 866-224-5422.